Morning, students. Morning, everyone. Because today our topic will be cost. Okay. Today our topic is cost. Good morning, everyone. Okay, chalo. Fixed cost and variable cost. Okay, fixed cost and variable cost. Now, what do you understand by this word? Fixed cost and variable cost. See, there are two words: fixed cost and variable cost. Okay, I hope you all are copying. Just copy this down. There are two costs I am writing: fixed cost and variable cost. Now let us see what is fixed cost. I am writing one definition. Fixed cost is not dependent on production or output. Fixed cost is not dependent on production or output. Now what do you mean by the word fixed cost is not dependent on production or output? Fixed cost is not dependent on production or output. What do you mean by the words? For example, let's see, you have a business. You have a business and your business is manufacturing pens. Okay, like for example, you're manufacturing pens. So you have taken a space, or you have taken a factory in rent, and every month you are paying rent to that person. Understand? Every month you are paying rent to that person. So if for example, like this COVID situations were going on, many factories were closed. So production was not happening. Production was at zero. Production was at zero level. There was no production happening in any factories. Now what will happen? Can you ever say that if the production is not happening, I'll not pay my rent? It is not at all possible. So any cost which is not at all dependent on production or output is known as fixed cost, which means no matter your production or your output will happen or not, but this cost will take place. Okay, this cost will take place. For example, your rent. Now for example, you're staying in a house and you're paying rent every month, and due to certain circumstances, for a month you couldn't afford to pay rent for that month. So will the owner agree? No, the owner will not agree. No matter what, you have to pay rent. No matter what, if you're staying or not, you have occupied that space, so you have to pay for that space no matter you are staying or not. So this is the meaning of fixed cost. That is why the name fixed cost is given. Understood? It is not dependent on production or output. Clear? It is not dependent on production or output. Clear? Now and let's talk about variable cost. See this? Variable cost is dependent. Variable cost is dependent. Now if I talk about The fixed cost that was not at all dependent on production or output. Clear? If I talk about fixed cost that was totally, no matter your production is happening or not, it was not at all affecting fixed cost. No matter you're staying or not, you have to pay rent. But if I talk about variable cost, like for example your labor, when will you pay your laborers? You will only pay your laborers when the laborers are working. You will pay them wages only when they are working. You will purchase raw materials only when they are working. Like for example, purchase of raw materials. Purchase of raw materials. Labor cost. All these are what? All these are your variable costs, which means only if I've written this obviously is dependent, which means only if production is happening, then only this variable cost will take place. Okay. So when you are buying raw material, when will you buy raw materials? When will you buy like cement or bricks? When will you buy? When your production will happen. Or let's take an example, you're manufacturing this pen. When will you buy this plastics, ink? When will you buy? When the production is happening. Why will you just buy without any cost? When the production will happen, then you buy raw materials. Clear? And when will you pay your laborers? Only when they are working. And if they are not working, how can you pay the laborers? So this type of cost is known as variable cost. Clear? It is totally dependent on production or output. Clear? It is totally dependent on production of output. So if your production will happen, then only this variable cost will take place. But if I talk about fixed cost, no matter your production is happening or not, your fixed cost will take place. But if variable cost is concerned, it will only take place only if your production is happening. Okay. Now let's talk about total cost. Total cost, it's a mixture of fixed cost plus variable cost. Total cost is a mixture of fixed cost plus your variable cost. Clear? Total cost is a mixture of fixed cost plus your variable cost. Clear? So whatever is your fixed cost and whatever is your variable cost, you have to add these two. So to get what? To get your total cost. Clear? I hope you'll remember this. Please note this down, all of you. The definition and the formula for total cost is fixed cost plus your variable cost. Clear? Fixed cost plus your variable cost. Okay. Now what will be then total revenue? What will be the total revenue? What do you understand by the word total revenue? What do you understand by the word total revenue? Total revenue is what? Total revenue means whatever money you are getting by selling certain number of products. Clear? Whatever money you are getting, which means the sales which is happening. Okay. This total cost is what? What is this total cost? The total cost incurred. For example, you are manufacturing 10 pens. You are manufacturing 10 pens. Clear? For example, you are manufacturing 10 pens. Okay? At rupees 10. So your total revenue, what will you do? You will sell at something higher prices, something more, at rupees 12 or rupees 13 or rupees 11. So that whatever money you will get by selling those products, that will be your total revenue. Okay? And total revenue is always greater. Total revenue is always greater than your total cost. Clear? Total revenue is always greater than your total cost. Clear? Total revenue is always greater than your total cost. Why? Because if you are manufacturing this pen at rupees 10, you will never sell this pen at rupees 8 or rupees 9 or something like this. You will always sell this at higher prices. So the money that you get by selling is your total revenue, and that revenue will always be greater than your total cost. Clear? Understood? Okay, now let me show one. I hope this is clear. Fixed cost, variable cost and total cost. Fixed cost, variable cost and total cost. This is the formula. This is the formula, and this you have to remember, total revenue is always greater than the total cost. Clear? Total revenue is always greater than the total cost. Please copy this down. This formula, total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. Yeah, I hope you have copied. Okay, okay. Now we'll start one topic, that is break even point. Break even point. What will we start? Break even point. What is break even? What do you understand by the word break even? A situation, a point where total revenue earned is equal to total cost incurred. A point where total revenue earned is equal to total cost incurred. Okay, a point where total revenue earned is equal to total cost incurred. Clear? A point where total cost revenue earned is equal to total cost incurred. Clear? A point where total revenue earned is equal to total cost incurred. What do you understand by this line? A point where total revenue earned is equal to total cost. Let's take an example for making a product. For making a product, certain products, the total cost is, let's take an example, the total cost is rupees 100. Okay, the total cost is rupees 100. How much? The total cost is rupees 100, and the total revenue earned is equals to rupees 130. For example, you have purchased or you have manufactured 10 pens out for rupees 100. Total cost is rupees 100, and by selling those pens you are getting 130. How much you are getting? 130. So what is the profit? Profit is equal to 130 minus 100, that is equals to rupees 30. Okay, this is your profit. 130 minus 100, this is your profit. 130 minus 100, that is rupees 30. Now if I ask you, what is the break even point? What is the break even point? See, a point will come when you will start earning from zero. You can never start earning from 1, 2 or 3. You will always start earning from zero. So a point will come where your total revenue, when total revenue equals to rupees, a point will come when your total revenue will be rupees 100. How much? It will be rupees 100. Clear? A point will come when your total revenue will be rupees 100. Clear? A point will, it can never reach 130 at one time. You have to go through certain phases to reach at 130. So a point will come before reaching at 130. A point will come when your revenue earned will be 100 rupees, only 100 rupees. So at this point what will happen? You will cover all your cost. Okay, for example, this phone is costing rupees 10,000. This phone is costing rupees 10,000. For manufacturing this phone, The total cost is rupees 1000 and you are selling this as rupees 12,000. You are selling this phone at rupees 12,000. So what point will come, there will be certain points when you will get 10,000. So out of the 10,000, what will happen? You will cover all your cost. Whatever cost has been incurred for manufacturing this phone, you will cover all your cost by getting the revenue, and then you will go for your profit. Okay, so this point at this 100, this total revenue is equal to total cost. Okay, so this 100 equals to 100. So when your revenue is 100, at this point what will happen? At this point what will happen? You will be at break even point. Break even. At this point what will happen? You will be at break even point. 100 equals to 100, and at this point what will happen? You will be at break even point. Why break even? Because whatever is the revenue earned, see 100 is the revenue earned. So at this point what will happen? You will cover all your cost. You will cover all your cost, which means the total cost is 100. Now you have covered all your cost, and in future whatever earning you will get, that will be your profit, not your loss. So I'll just show you one graph of break even point. I'll show you break even point. See, I'll just show you one chart. Okay, one graph I'm showing you. If you want to, you can just put this graph, copy this graph. See, if you can see this graph, this is the break even point. Okay, so this is the total cost. This line which you are seeing, this line which you are seeing, see this. See this line which you are seeing, this is your total cost line, this line. Okay, this line, I hope you all are seeing, and please copy this down, all of you. Yeah, good. So this line which you are seeing, students, this line is actually your total cost line. And if I ask you a question, can anyone tell me why is not this total cost starting from 0? Why is this total cost not starting from 0? This is your total revenue line. This line, the one which is starting from the origin, is your total revenue, the total revenue earned line. Okay, and this is your total cost. This is your total cost. Now if I ask you a question, why is this total cost not starting from 0? Why is this total cost not starting from 0? Can anyone tell me? The answer will be, I clearly told you all, the formula for total cost is fixed cost plus variable cost. And fixed cost is always something. No matter your production is happening or not happening, your fixed cost will always be something. This variable cost can be 0. Variable cost can be 0, but fixed cost will never be 0. And since total cost is a mixture, so total cost will always be something. Understood? It will always be something. It can never be 0 total cost. Why? Because fixed cost will always be something. It is a mixture of fixed cost and variable cost. So if there is fixed cost, there is something. So what will happen? If you add these two, you will always get total cost as something. You will always get some unit. Total cost can never be 0. Why? Because it is a mixture of fixed cost and variable cost, and fixed cost can never be 0. Clear? Understood? So see this. This is the line of total cost and this is the line of total revenue. Understood? So in the starting, what you're seeing, the starting phase, this is your loss phase. This is the loss phase, okay? This is the loss phase. Why? Because in this phase, what you're seeing, the total cost is greater than the total revenue, okay? In the first phase, what you are seeing, total cost is greater than total TC is greater than TR. See this? This is the TC line and this is the TR line. What are you seeing? Write this. This TC, total cost, is greater than total revenue, which means you are at loss. So this orange or red phase, red portion is your loss portion. Why? Because till now you haven't earned so much that your cost will be covered. You are still earning lesser. So your total cost is lesser than your total revenue. So this is the loss phase. And if I talk about this blue phase, if I talk about the blue phase, this blue phase if I'm talking about, the second blue phase if I'm talking about, if you see, this total revenue is exceeding, and total cost is coming down. Now your total cost is lesser than total revenue. This means you are at profit. This means that you are at profit. This total cost now is lesser. It's crossing and it is going down, and total revenue is going up. This is going up. So this means that total revenue is now greater than total cost. So you will be at profit. Now you may say, what is break-even point, sir? This black zone, this black dot is your break-even point. Why? Because at this point, total cost is equal to total revenue, and this is your BEP. BEP means break-even point, which means whatever revenue you are earning, you are covering all your costs. You are covering all your cost. Okay. Now what will happen? Whatever profit you will get now, whatever money you will get now, that will be your profit and not your loss. Clear? So this black dot is your break-even point. Okay. This black dot is your break-even point. Here what is happening at break-even point? What is happening? The total revenue is equal to total cost. Okay. Why? Because whatever revenue you have earned, that covers all your cost. Clear? See this chart also. This chart. This is your total cost chart and this is your total revenue line. Okay. Copy this, all of you. I hope you all have copied. Copy this, all of you. All have copied? Yes or no? Please say. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, students, just leave it till here. And for break-even point sums, okay, sums we'll do it tomorrow. Break-even point sums we'll do this tomorrow, okay. Just keep it till here. And break-even point sums and numericals we'll do it tomorrow. This was the theory part which you need to understand. What is break-even point, what is fixed cost, what is variable cost, okay. So for sums we'll do this tomorrow, or else you will get confused. Clear? Understood? Okay. Okay. Thank you, students. Have a good day and God bless.